Hey guys, and welcome back to the Yoga Doc. I'm Dr. Leah Deutsch, founder of the Yoga Doc. This video is part 2 of a 2-part sequence looking towards preparation for birth. In part 1, your ease sequence, we look towards warming up the body gently and getting your baby in a forwards and open position for birth. As we move into part 2, your flow sequence, this practice definitely becomes a little bit more challenging, a little bit more energetic as we start to build up a bit more heat within the body and we start to try and focus your baby's direction down towards the pelvis. These two practices would be ideally practiced together, so moving through from the ease practice and into the flow sequence, but you can absolutely practice both of these practices as a standalone. If you're choosing to practice this flow sequence as a standalone class, then I would definitely encourage you to try and do a few minutes worth of warm-up exercises, perhaps some cat-cows, just to start to get the body ready for this more heated practice. The props that you're going to need for today's class is simply a block. A yoga block will be great, but if you haven't got this, as always, you can substitute for a cushion or a couple of books to give you that extra lift and support. This is a strong flow practice and can be very challenging in places, especially if you're towards the end of your pregnancy. Please take the time to listen to your body, meet that challenge if it's something you choose to, but be kind and gentle with your body at the same time and stop if you need to. So we're going to start off today where we left off in our ease practice in child's pose. So you can use a block here just to support yourself. If this is where you're starting in your flow sequence, then just take a few extra breaths here just to settle in. So using the block if you're a little bit more further on in your pregnancy may be really helpful to accommodate your bump. You may want to put a block between the back of the thighs and the calves again to give yourself a little bit more space. Start to bring the bum back towards the heels. Either resting on the forearms or extending the arms out in front of you, and start to take several deep inhales and exhales. Beginning by breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, letting out a deep sigh and allowing the body just to release and relax. And take another big breath like this, inhaling deeply through the nose and maybe letting out a sigh as you let the day drift away. Taking one more big breath like this as you breathe in through the nose, the biggest breath you've taken all day, full expansion through the rib cage. And then as you exhale, sighing out through the mouth, just allow the body to melt into the mat, feeling the support of the floor beneath you and the weightiness of the body pressing down into the floor. Start to settle into the breath now as you start to turn your breath into an inhale and exhale through the nose. If you have an ujjayi practice, then you can engage that now. And this is simply a gentle constriction in the back of the throat where we allow the breath to be forced through this passage, creating an oceanic-like quality to the sound of the breath, as if you were fogging a mirror. And breathing in through the nose, feeling expansion through the ribcage and into the back. Exhaling through the nose now. Allowing this to be a steady, fluid exhale, allowing the belly to fall between the thighs. And taking another big inhale, finding expansion through the whole rib cage, opening up through the chest and the back. Exhaling through the nose and then allow the belly to fall between the legs. Now pressing into the hands as you inhale, pushing up into your tabletop pose. Bringing your knees hip width apart. And pressing down into your wrists, which are underneath your shoulders. Shifting your hips back towards your heels as you lift your knees up towards a downward facing dog as we start to move into the dynamic part of this sequence now. Make sure your fingertips are spread wide like starfish. Maybe bend your knees a little bit if this is your first downward facing dog today. And draw up your pelvic floor and lift your hips towards the sky. Make sure that the weight is shifted back towards the heels. And then start to walk your feet towards your hand, keeping your knees nice and bent to get there. Feet are hip width apart. Holding opposite elbows here and bending the knees strongly. Allow gravity to draw your arms and your head towards the floor in ragdoll pose. Let the weightiness of your body draw you here rather than a forced forward fold. Allow the body to be soft and just take a breath here. Maybe bring your feet a little wider if you need that space if you're further on in your pregnancy. And then releasing the hands, slowly rolling up one vertebra at a time, taking your time to get here. Inhaling, sweeping the hands overhead. Exhaling, hinge from the hips, bending the knees and bringing the hands to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins, look forward. Exhaling, bending the knees and bring the hands to the floor. And stepping the right leg, left leg back towards the back of the mat, knees down and untuck the toes. Come into a baby push-up here and then start to walk the hands to the back of the mat. Fingertips point towards the toes as you push into the wrists and lift the hips forward into this back bend. Inhaling, walking the hands back to the front of the mat, tucking the toes and shifting your way back to a downward facing dog. And taking breaths here, inhaling, right leg lifts towards the sky, stepping forward on your exhale to the front of the mat. Bring your right leg to the side of the mat a little here for more space in your hips and push into your thigh to bring yourself up into a high lunge. Left heel is lifted and bend down into that right knee. Tuck your pelvis under and then draw your hands back down towards your bum. Interlace the fingers and lift the chest up. Exhaling, hinging forward from the waist into your humble warrior. So bearing in mind you may need a little bit more space here, allow your baby to hang forward. And bring your hands up. If this is not reachable for you, then just keep your hands on your lower back. And breathing here, taking a deep breath in through the nose and focusing in towards your breath. Exhaling through the nose and taking another deep breath, inhaling and exhaling, releasing. Begin to push into the right foot, maybe using your hands on your thighs as you support yourself up into your warrior two. So heel toeing the right foot to the center of the mat, so front heel and inner arch of the back foot align. Coming into that warrior two position, so sinking down into the right foot, arms are parallel with the floor and shoulders are away from the ear. Line the back foot up so that it's in line with the short edge of the back of the mat. And then as you take your next inhale, sweeping the right arm underneath the left, wrapping the arms round to create your eagle bind. Now, if you're unable to do this, if your breasts are a little larger in pregnancy, then it's absolutely fine to just hug opposite shoulders with each hand. And taking an inhale, lifting the elbows up and away from the chest. And the purpose here is to create a stretch and release in the back of the shoulders rather than overly getting fixated on this bind. Sink down a little more into the right knee and push into the outer edge of the left foot. Inhaling, sweeping the arms over to the right as you bend more into the right knee, skater pose. Take another exhale, and then as you inhale, shifting back over to the left side again this time. Left arm sweep over into the skater pose on the left side. Exhaling, coming back over to the right side one final time as you sink into the knee and arm sweep over the legs. And then inhaling, coming back into your wide leg squat. As you turn your toes out and knees are wide, coming into your goddess pose now, inhaling. You're going to sweep the arms up and create a goalpost at a bend at the elbow at 90 degrees, sinking down on your exhale. And then inhaling, pushing into the feet, reaching up with the fingertips. Exhaling, sinking down again into your right leg squat. And then pushing into the toes again as you inhale, reaching up. Exhaling one final time as you sink down into your goddess pose. Stretching through the fingertips and reaching up through the side body. Exhaling, sinking down and hands to the thigh. We're going to rotate over towards the left thigh with the right shoulder. As you take another inhale, pushing into the hands and rotating down to the other side. So exhaling, left shoulder to right thigh. And twisting to the other side again, moving fluidly with the breath as you exhale, right shoulder towards left thigh. And then one final inhale, pushing into the hands as you twist over left shoulder to right thigh. Taking your block or book now and placing it directly under your shoulders as you push your right hand into the block, sweep the left hand up on the inhale. As you exhale, bringing that top hand back down to the block and then reaching your right arm up towards the sky. And take another exhale, bringing the hands back down to the floor and swapping arms. Left arm reaches up on the inhale, stretching the fingertips and rotating from the hips. Exhaling, bringing that top arm back down one last time as you sweep that right arm up towards the sky and then bringing both hands to the floor, shifting the block out the way. Hands supporting you on the floor, shifting the weight over into the right knee, bending through the right leg and extending the left leg into this half squat Skandasana. And then shifting the weight over to the left knee, bending through the left knee, right leg extends to the side and flexing through the right heel. You can bring the hands to prayer at the center of the chest or support yourself on the floor to do this. And walking the hands to frame the front foot into a low lunge. Right leg joins left leg and come into your baby vinyasa, so baby push up. Walk the hands to the back of the mat and fingertips point towards the toes as you lift and puff up the chest into a back bend here. Bum down towards the heels as you walk the body forward to the front of the mat again. And tucking the toes and shifting the weight back to a downward facing dog. And taking a deep inhale here and sighing out through the mouth. Inhaling, lifting the left leg up towards the sky and then stepping it to the front of the mat behind the left wrist. Push into the thigh as you reach up into your high lunge, sinking down into that supporting knee. As you bring your arms to the side and round behind you, interlace the fingers and draw down towards the back heel as you puff your chest. Hinging forward into your humble warrior, either hands to the back or leaving them lifted. Lengthen forward from the crown of the head and breathe deeply here, taking a deep inhale and exhaling, letting your baby hang into the space that you've created here for yourself. And taking one more deep inhale, and then on the next exhale, releasing the hands, push into the thigh and come back up to standing. Legs are nice and wide, and you're going to adjust your feet into your warrior 2 position again, so front heel to back in arch alignment. And bring your hands parallel so that the palms are facing down, and take a nice inhale here, expand through the rib cage, draw that back hip back towards the back of the mat. Sweep the arms to the side and bring left hand under right arm this time so that the elbows are hooked, or alternatively you can wrap your hands so you're holding opposite shoulders, giving yourself a nice hug here and finding that space and expansion through the back of the shoulders. Take another inhale, find space between the rib cage and draw your elbows up a little here. Find space between the shoulders and the neck. Exhale, sink down. On your next inhale, releasing the arms, and then shift your weight over to the left knee, sweeping arms over the leg. As you inhale, sweeping over to the right side into your skater pose over the right leg. Inhale, push into the foot as you come one more time over to the left thigh. And turning the feet now out to a 45-degree angle, feet nice and wide as you come into goddess pose. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up and cactusing the elbows as you sink down into the knees. Inhaling, reach up. Exhaling, sinking down into your goddess pose. Inhale, find expansion through the sides of the ribs, and then as you exhale, sink down. Taking one more here, reaching up with the arms and exhaling, sinking down. Hands to thighs and bringing the right shoulder over towards the left thigh. Left shoulder over towards the right thigh. Inhaling and then exhaling, twisting over towards the left. Inhaling. Exhaling, twisting over towards the right. Finding that block again and placing it underneath your shoulders so that you have that support and lift there. Placing the right hand into the block and then rotating your body, reaching up with the left hand on the inhale. Exhaling, switching hands, left hand comes to the block and sweeping the right arm up towards the sky as you rotate the body round. Exhaling, right hand to block, left hand lifts up. Really push into that supporting hand to give yourself a lift through the chest as you inhale. And then exhaling, left hand one more time to the block and reaching up with the right hand, sweeping the arm up. I'm going to shift over now to your Skandasana pose, so into that side lunge as you shift the weight into the left knee, flexing through the right heel. Over towards the right knee now, extending through the left leg. Remember, keeping your hands on the floor, or if you want that extra challenge, coming to hands to prayer at the center. Shifting over to the left side one last time as you lift up through the chest and extend through the right leg, flexing through the right heel. Bringing the hands to the mat, framing the front foot and stepping the left foot back to meet the right as you move through your vinyasa. Baby push up, lifting up and walking the hands back to the back of the mat on the inhale. Pushing into the hands as you puff the chest on the exhale. Softening the bum back down to the mat. Walking your hands now to the front of the mat as you bring your knees wide, toes touch, and you allow yourself to settle back into your child's pose, bringing whatever props and support you need to get yourself there. Reconnect with the breath once again, so breathing deeply through the nose, maybe taking a big exhale, letting go through the mouth. That was a challenging sequence, so giving yourself the breath and the time that you need to reconnect in here. Always knowing that you can stop at any point through this class and that these are challenging sequences. And pushing into the hands now. And bring yourself to tabletop, tucking the toes once again as you come into your downward facing dog. And start to walk the hands to the back of the mat now and bend the knees really nice and to get yourself there. And coming into your malasana, so into that squat pose. So to do this, you're going to bring the legs nice and wide and turn the feet out. Now you can either place a block underneath each heel or a cushion underneath each heel, maybe put a block underneath your bottom if you need it here. Try and keep your chest nice and upright. If you're able to, maybe start to sink the heels down towards the floor and bring the hands to prayer in the center of the chest. This is going to create loads of space for your baby and is a really great one to get yourself into that birth preparation positioning. So we're opening the hips here and we're allowing gravity to help support our baby down towards the birth canal. And bring the hands forward and bend the knees and heel toe the feet in towards parallel again, hip width apart. Slowly start to roll the body up into a standing position. Coming to Tadasana at the back of the mat. So toes are pointing forward, engaging, lifting up through the front of the thighs. Shoulders are away from the ears and arms are nice and strong. Palms open and facing forward. Create a space between the ears and the shoulders here as you draw the shoulder tips down and back. I'm going to face forward to you now. So staying where you are, inhale deeply and puff open the chest. Shift the weight into the right foot and lift the left leg up. Just mirroring you now, hugging the knee into the chest here. We're going to focus a little on balance here. So create a softness, a bend in that supporting right knee just to give yourself a little bit more stability here. Coming into standing pigeon as you draw the left ankle over the right knee, either standing upright or maybe starting to sink down. Bring the hands to the hips to begin with and find a drishti, a focus point that's not moving to help you with your balance. If you feel stable here, maybe bringing your hands to your chest and starting to sink the bum down a little bit more towards a seated position. Really starting to connect with your breath here, which will help you with balance, and then starting to push into that foot as you come upright, hugging the left knee in towards the chest and reach the right arm up towards the sky. Kick the left leg back towards the bottom and hook round the hand, holding around the outside edge of the foot. You're coming into a dancer's pose, so really bend into that supporting leg to help you with balance. Focus here on keeping an openness in the chest and a reach in the arm before tilting forward. Start to kick the foot into the hand so you get that counter traction, and then maybe start to tilt the body forward. If you have a bend in the knee and you're shifting forward, then maybe start to focus on straightening through that supporting right leg. Take a big breath here, inhaling. Maintain that focused drishti point to help you with balance. And then exhaling, releasing the leg, coming down into a wide leg squat here. So you're coming back into your malasana pose. So heels are either lifted off the floor here with a support of a block or a cushion underneath them. If you are here and you're feeling reasonably comfortable, then maybe start to shift the weight from side to side. And pushing into the thighs as you come back up, rolling through the spine, coming back into that parallel foot position into your Tadasana. And coming to the opposite side now, so shifting weight into the left foot this time, hugging the right knee in towards the chest. Hooking the right ankle over the left knee, coming into your standing pigeon on the opposite side. Find that drishti point which is going to help you to focus, and then hands to the hips or hands in prayer, either staying upright here or maybe bending down a little bit, drawing the bum back towards the heel. Really connect with your breath as you breathe deeply here, opening through the chest, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. And push into that supporting leg as you come back to standing and hug the knee into the chest. Coming into dancer's pose again, so starting to reach that left arm up, extending through the chest, and then kicking the right foot back towards the bottom, holding around the outside edge of the foot. Lifting up through the chest and pushing the foot into the hand that you're holding it with. And then maybe start to tilt the body forward a little bit here. So finding that like an archer pulling on a bow, counter traction with hand to foot. And breathe as you open through the chest and reach that arm up and forward. Coming back out of the pose with control, releasing the foot and drawing the feet down towards that parallel position in your Tadasana. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up. Exhaling, diving forward. Inhaling, straighten the legs and look forward to the front of the mat. Hands to the floor, stepping left foot and right foot back. Untuck the toes and shift forward into your baby push-up. Exhaling, walking to the back of the mat, fingertips point towards the toes as you inhale, lift the hips up into your back bend, puffing the chest forward. Exhaling, walking yourself forward, coming into your child's pose again, creating whatever props you need to here to support you, either under your head or between the backs of the thighs and the calves. And take as many breaths as you need to here, just finding that reconnection with breath once again. Allow your baby to be soft. Just remaining in child's pose for as long as you need to here. I'd encourage you definitely to take another good 5 breaths here, just being still and connecting in with breath before moving into a Shavasana and consolidating your practice. Congratulations if you made it through the whole of this practice today. It was definitely a challenging one and is designed to be so. These are supposed to be practices which create heat and energy throughout the body in a safe and supported way. If you enjoyed this practice and you'd like more, then do go ahead and click subscribe on my channel and comment below. I'd love to hear from you.